Yo, 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 happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. Back at you with another live stream. Today is a juicy one. We're talking about the secret to better negotiation skills. Do you want to know the secret? I bet you do because you're here. I am going live across YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, you name it, I'm there. And I'm excited for this one, y'all. It's a momentous occasion because this live stream is sponsored. How meta. Y'all, today's live stream is sponsored by my good friends at Stan Store. And so I'm very thankful for this partnership. I'm going to be talking about them a bit later in the stream. But for now, I want to know where you are tuning in from. So drop it in the chat. I would love to know. We've got Living with Parkinson's tuning in. We've got my ADV 360. Good to see you here. I am pressing live on my Instagram. There we go. It's working now. We've got plant-based Mexican tuning in. We've got a bunch of people flooding in, all sorts of different platforms. So good to see it here. Okay, so we've got, as with anything, as you know, as I've mentioned, I do these live streams every week and they are for you. And so any questions that you have around brand deals and sponsorships and negotiations and so on, please make sure to drop them in the chat because a bit later in the stream, I am going to be answering your questions. So that would be fantastic. We've got Channing Johnson saying the goat. We've got the goat emoji. Well, look at, I guess, is that me? Am I the goat? I guess I am. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to take it because I appreciate it. Channing's tuning in from North Atlanta. Livestream Consultants. Good to see you here turning in from New Mexico. You know, New Mexico has been on my bucket list forever. And now that I live in Minnesota, I feel like it would be like a pretty easy flight to go to like Albuquerque or Taos. I've always wanted to go and explore. I feel like I should just do it. This is a sign. We've got Constantine tuning in from Tampa, Florida. Y'all, I got to give a big shout out to Constantine because he is one of the people that facilitated this partnership with Stan that I'm doing today. So thanks for tuning in, Constantine. I appreciate you, dude. We've got Bianca tuning in from my team as well in the chat. So it's great to see everyone here. So as I mentioned, the subject of today's live stream is the secret to better negotiation skills. And what I am going to tell you might shock you, might surprise you. So hold on, grip your seats with both hands because I've got some juicy stuff to go into here. So the first thing that I want to talk about in terms of learning how to be a better negotiator is how important it is to know your unique value proposition. So something that I talk about in my book, Sponsor Magnet, is something that I call your surprising transformative promise, which is basically your elevator pitch that is going to make people, whoa, like kind of take a step back and realize like, wow, I've never heard of anyone doing that thing before. Not only is that a surprising thing, but wow, you're promising to help me accomplish a transformation. That's actually pretty incredible. And so one of the things I talk about in the book is that when you have a clear value proposition like that, it helps not only brands instantly understand what you offer and why you're a perfect fit for collaborating with their brand, but it also helps followers understand why they should be, subscribing to your content, following you, et cetera. And so I share examples about, how you can kind of take what's kind of a vague one-liner, a vague description on your bio, on the about section of your YouTube channel, the about page on your blog, whatever it is. You can kind of basically convert these into something much more powerful, something much more audience-focused, so that they can understand, okay, am I going to be entertained? Am I going to be educated by this person? Otherwise, why would I even follow them? The example that I shared in the book is with a creator named Olivia, and she was a petite fashion blogger. This was her niche. And so she had something very generic in her bio when I first started working with her. It was basically like, oh, the cutest everyday, styles, petite fashion, something like this. Super vague. It felt like any other bio that you'd see on social media from like a lifestyle influencer or something. And when I coached her through the STP process, her bio basically became helping you find petite fashion to look and feel your best. And so if we deconstruct this in the surprising transformative promise framework, the surprising element is that she's focused on petite clothing. That's cool, right? That's novel. The transformative part is that she's going to help people go from here to here, right? So it's like an outcome that she's promising. And the promise element was helping you. I'm going to help you do this. This isn't about following my fashion, likes and follow along as I blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's not about you. It's about your follower. And, when a brand lands on this page, right, of Olivia's page, they're going to say, wow, everyone in Olivia's audience has the problem that our product solves. Let's hire her to talk about our clothing, to talk about our product, etc. Right. And so knowing your unique value proposition is a critical element of having better negotiation skills, because when a brand can understand, like, you have this very unique focus, this unique niche, and you're serving your peeps in this specific way, you just have so much more leverage at that negotiating table. Okay, is this making sense? Drop a 1 in the chat if this is making sense. Drop a mind blown emoji. We've got Molly in the chat. You know who Molly is? Molly is the grand prize winner of Sponsor Games, y'all. She is the grand prize winner of Sponsor Games. Not only did she win $5,000 in cash because she won the grand prize, but she got one of the seats of my brand new Wizards Mastermind, in addition to a bunch of other crazy prizes. But I'm just so proud of you, Molly. Let's give it up in the chat for Molly. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So Jason in the chat says, I'm planning a 5-month Asian trip and trying to find sponsorships. Thanks for all the help. Also, ChatGPT is a great resource for finding sponsorship opportunities. There we go, dude. Love to see it here. Enjoy your trip. That sounds really exciting. And Molly has switched from Instagram over to YouTube. All right. So good to see you here, Molly. All right. So the next item that I want to talk about in terms of understanding how to build better negotiating skills is building a foundation with affiliate marketing. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about in a moment, this resource that I've put together in partnership with Stan, which is today's sponsor of the live stream, is that, when you have a more diversified creator business, it allows you to walk away from bad deals, right? And so one of the revenue elements that I have in my business is affiliate marketing, right? And so it can kind of create this passive income stream that reduces your dependence on brand deals, right? And so, of course, I'm the brand deal guy. I'm the sponsorship guy. But when you have other revenue streams that you can fall back on, it reduces your need to just take bad deals, right? Let's just be real here. And so one of the things that we talk about in this resource is this kind of idea where it's a mention, don't sell approach, where you can, talk about the tools, the products, the services that you're using and loving authentically, and that those things can resonate with your audience. And how critical that can be. One thing I'll say is that with affiliate marketing, it could take a while for it to start really building traction and start becoming a meaningful revenue stream. But once you can get that momentum going, it can actually be pretty meaningful. So for example, like I have several tools. I have one tool in particular where I'm now generating multiple thousands of dollars a month in affiliate income, but it took around 4 years to develop that, but it was a tool that I use all the time. I link to it a lot. It's in every description box of my YouTube videos, etc. Right? And so again, that cushion, that foundation, that baseline of, a couple $1,000s a month is like pretty sweet, and like allows me to be like, do I really want to take that, $2,000-$3,000 brand deal this month? I don't know if it's really going to serve my audience. I'm going to say no. Right. And so it just takes the edge off needing like, I need this to pay bills this month or whatever. Right. Okay. So affiliate marketing, drop it in the chat. Anyone have a meaningful affiliate marketing revenue already? Looking for other ways to develop, strategies with respect to affiliates where you're, getting more affiliates or you're making more money on your affiliate deals, things like this, drop it in the chat. Let me know. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about in terms of having better negotiation skills, it's another diversification thing, which is creating digital products for ownership and control. So here's my philosophy on digital products. I really think that they give you more business ownership. in terms of thinking through how kind of the next step, the next phase of your business trajectory, right? And so whether this is kind of entry-level products like templates or guides or mini courses that are solving real problems within your audience, you do not need to be like a huge mega influencer with millions of followers to have the to feel as though you're allowed to sell things directly to your audience. I think a lot of people have this credibility gap, this imposter syndrome that they feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm only a few steps ahead of my audience. Who am I to I'm not a coach. I'm not a consultant. I'm not like a person who has like deep subject matter expertise. And my philosophy is even if you're a handful of steps ahead of your audience, you can still provide really meaningful value to them to help them prevent mistakes that you made along the way. And so for example, I would not consider myself like an expert in creating digital courses or launching community or whatever, but I have earned experience, and I can absolutely teach people. If I ever wanted to launch a workshop or something all around, creating community or launching a cohort-based course or launching converting a cohort-based course to an on-demand course. These are things that I had to go through. There were big, painful obstacles and, imposter syndrome and fears that I had. And I could talk through all that stuff. I'm not an expert. I'm not certified in that stuff, but I bet there's a lot of people in my audience who would find a lot of value in doing that. One of the things I talk about is this principle called audience first offers. So of course, as I mentioned, I am the sponsorships guy. However, I have this framework called your PSA, your products, your sponsors, and your alliances, right? And so a lot of people are comfortable with the products thing, right? They live in the camp where maybe you are already selling digital products, courses, coaching, books, resources, guides, whatever. You're comfortable with having a sales conversation directly with your audience, and that's great. But one of the things that I have found repeatedly working with people is that it's very, very rare that you are going to solve every issue that your audience has with the things that you sell. They're complex human beings, right? They may have, other issues in their business, and they may have, family issues that they're experiencing, or marital problems because they're working so much on their business or whatever. It's complicated, right? And so unless you are doing some deep psychographic research, some surveys about what's going on in their life, what problems they're having, what's keeping them up at night, you're never going to be able to figure out what are the ways in which you can serve them beyond the things that you're selling them. For example, let's say that you serve small business owners, right? And you primarily create courses, coaching, things like that, specifically to help small business owners do, I don't know, whatever it is, like accounting or forecasting or I don't know, whatever it is. I bet you would probably get responses back to that psychographic survey that said, I'm having a hard time balancing with work-life balance. I'm working all the time. I'm a small business owner. I don't have I'm always in the shop. Maybe I have a brick and mortar location. And I'm really struggling with that work-life balance. Are you gonna read that and be like, okay, I should become a, marriage family therapist or some sort of, relationship coach to help with this type of thing, to help with this issue that this person in my audience is saying? No, that's not your expertise. That's probably never going to be a product that you create. However, maybe there is a sponsor out there that can help with this particular issue. Maybe they can help automate. Maybe there's some sort of AI CRM tool that could, win back hours a day from this business owner's life that will allow them to focus on their family or allow them to clock out at 5 p.m. or allow them to hire people, so that they don't have to be the one in the shop all the time. I'm just spitballing here. And then by that same token, it's that third bucket, right? So that's products, sponsors, right? So you're going out there and you're finding sponsors to actually, help someone accomplish this problem, solve this problem that they're having that they told you about. And then that last bucket, which is alliances, right? Are there other coaches that you know that could potentially help this person in your audience with this issue, this work-life balance issue that they're having, you better tell your audience about that coach, about that person or whatever. And so this is the trifecta. It's the three legs of the stool. It's the products, it's the sponsors, and it's the alliances, because again, it's not about you. It's not about you making the most amount of money that you can make. It's about serving your audience with these offers, right? And so I think that this is a big unlock when it comes to, creating, whatever it is, the ways in which you can serve your audience best to help them accomplish this. And guess what's going to happen when you meaningfully improve the life of your customer, of your audience member, of your client in that area? That's the active pain. They finally feel, now that I'm in a position to invest in your services, in your coaching, in your courses, et cetera. And so I'm a big believer in this whole thing. And so on this topic of, creating digital products, affiliate marketing, alliances, et cetera, now I want to talk, about how important it is to leverage an email list to own your audience. Okay. This has probably been the number one kind of economic engine, financial engine behind my business over the last five years, is creating this direct access to your audience outside of the platform algorithms. So this is all under the subject of how to have better negotiating skills. When you have access to your audience directly, that is so much leverage when you're talking with brands, because not only are you able to credibly say that, like, look, yeah, even if I have a 10% organic reach on my social media platform when you're looking at like my insights or whatever, but I have a 50% open rate on my emails. No matter what, there's no algorithm here. All that matters is if I can write a more compelling subject line on that email, that thing is going to get opened, right? And so that, honestly, if you look at my personal stats, like my reach on my social media is literally like less than 5%. It sucks. And you could argue that, like, okay, Justin, well, you're not making compelling enough content. Yeah, you could make that argument. But like, if you look at my email, my average open rates are between 40 and 50%. So it's not like, I'm that much of an idiot, right? Because I think email is just a fundamentally different relationship that you have with your audience. And so, being able to like lean into that and say to a brand, like, why don't we consider a newsletter sponsorship or a newsletter partnership? Because I can basically guarantee you between 40 and 50% of these people are going to see this frickin' message, right? And so not only will that become a distribution channel for you to potentially serve your audience directly, whether it's products or alliances that you're able to put in front of them, but with sponsorships, right? So this becoming a larger part of your monetization ecosystem, promoting all of these different revenue streams, I think it can be a game changer and give you tremendous negotiation leverage. Is this resonating with anyone? Tony from Simplified Gardening has been pushing to build my list loads this year, currently at 10,000. 46% open rate, but I haven't pushed a product through it yet. I'm just servicing them at the moment. And Tony, that really was my approach early on as well. Like I didn't even have anything to sell when I started the newsletter. I was just value. It's that, it's the whole kind of Gary V jab, right hook thing. And that's what I did for the first basically year and a half. I was just over and over and over. It was just value. And then ultimately that was when I did graduate into presenting some offers and ways in which I could serve people. So I'm glad to hear that that's resonating with you. Molly in the chat says, love email sponsorships. There we go. We got Sarah Loretta in the chat. Ops royalty. Sarah, big shout out to you. Sarah is a close friend. She was my event planner for my in-person event sponsor games. And so good to have you in the house, Sarah. Love to see it. We've got Cultivate Vibrance over here in the IG chat saying that's a great idea. All right. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, want to give a big shout out to Stan Store, who's the sponsor of today's live stream. In just a few minutes, I'm going to be talking a bit more about Stan Store. Make sure to stick around for that. But I do have one more thing that I want to talk about on this topic of how to get better negotiation skills. And again, these live streams are for y'all. So any questions that you have around brand deals, negotiations, etc., please leave it in the chat. I'm going to be getting to those in a bit. Okay, so last but not least, how important it is to develop multiple brand partnership channels. Okay, what do I mean by this? So Obviously, you have the difference between a normal kind of one-off brand deal where you're just talking about them once on your social channels or podcast or newsletter or whatever. But one of the biggest friction points that I think a lot of creators come to me with are they are basically sole platform creators. So like this is a really like common DM that I get or interaction. It's like, I am a YouTuber. I've gone all in on YouTube for the last 10 years or last 5 years or whatever, and I have not focused on any other platform at all. And so I am doing sponsorships, but the only inventory, the only asset that I can offer a brand is just more videos, or maybe at the very least a sponsored community post. But that's it. And really the advice that I give in almost every scenario to creators like that who are single platform creators, it's maybe a bit counterintuitive, but like if brand partnerships are a significant part of your revenue stream, your absolute goal this year for the rest of 2025 needs to be building up at least one other content format in which you can not only serve your audience, but serve prospective brand partners. So whether this is a newsletter, whether this is a podcast, whether this is a social media platform, whether this is an email newsletter, whether this is an in-person event, whether this is a virtual summit, whether this is a frickin' book, I don't care. Figure it out. One other platform so that when you are negotiating with these sponsors, you have other things, other ways in which you can serve them depending on what their objectives are. Okay? Is this making sense? Am I giving a little bit of tough love to anyone who has gone all in on a specific platform? Because I know this. There's a lot of people out there who will say, focus, double down on this one platform. Like, you know, if you try a bunch of platforms, you're going to be average at all of them. And like, I get that advice. Like there is some, you know, credibility in that advice. But what I'm saying is that you need at least one other like format that you can potentially provide to these sponsors. And frankly, again, go back to the audience thing. It's not just about sponsorships. It's about, I bet you could probably serve your audience members in other ways. Here's a quick story from my own experience. Okay. When I started out educating creators, I started making YouTube videos because I consider myself a YouTuber, right? Because I started out in 2009 along with my wife building these channels. I'm a YouTuber at heart, long form video. And so when I started educating creators around the process of sponsorship strategy, I started making YouTube videos. Okay. Then here's what happened. People said to me, hey, Justin, I really love this framework that you're talking about sponsorships, but you know what? I would love to read more about it. Instead of watching, I like to study this a little bit more. I said, okay, let me take the transcripts of these YouTube videos and make blog posts. I'm going to create a blog and I'm going to post these there. And then someone would say, oh, thank you so much for the blog, Justin. I read all your articles, but you know what? I'm not really going to like visit your blog all the time to see if there's like new articles. Can you like send these to me via email? And I'd be like, oh, okay, let me make a newsletter. Okay. And so that was the next graduation. Let me put these blog posts into a curated newsletter that I send out once a week. Okay. Then I had a bunch of people on my newsletter say, hey, Justin, I really love these, but you know what? I don't really have a ton of time to like read your blog posts or watch your YouTube videos, but I am a side hustler and I am a creator on the side, but I still have a full-time job. And I would love to like learn about this stuff on the go, on my commute. And so I said, okay, say less. Let me make a podcast, right? So I just started, and then I thought, right, let's just keep this going. A bunch of people would say, oh, Justin, I really want to learn from you, but I don't have a ton of time or whatever. And I said, well, what's another way in which people learn? Wow, they read books. So let me package up everything that I know into my book sponsor magnet. Let's just keep going. Let's keep rolling. I got more stuff, right? Then I said, what's another way that people learn? Oh, in-person experiences. Let me go launch an in-person event. Boom, sponsor games. There it is. And so this has been my philosophy when it comes to serving my audience in all the different ways in which they can learn from me, because everyone has different learning styles. And so the analogy that I hope to give you here with respect to developing multiple different brand partnership channels and asset and content type formats is it's the same approach, is that there's probably lots of different ways in which you can serve your audience that you aren't currently doing. And it will also have the double benefit of serving brand partners were they to want to collaborate with you. Okay. Is this making sense? Are we feeling good? Is this resonating with us? I want everyone to drop a 1 in the chat if this is resonating. Drop it in the chat. Is this resonant? Give me the mind blown emoji. Give me the what's this one? The praise hands, the diamond. How about the money with the wings? How about that? Something like that. Cultivate Vibrance in the chats here said, just logged in, heard your podcast this morning with Jay Akonzo. Well, it's awesome to meet you. Cultivate Vibrance. Maybe you can let me know what your name is, so I can not call you by just your handle. It's great to see you here. Okay, y'all, we have now reached the time in the live stream where I'm going to give a huge shout out to Stan Store. And you know what? We got Sean in the house from Stan. Let's give some love to Sean because she is one of the people that helped facilitate this partnership for me. And Sean says, such great tips, Justin. There are so many ways to repurpose content for this. And so, guys, come on. Let's just give it up in the chat for Sean for helping facilitate this partnership with Stan. And I'm so excited to talk about this resource that we have put together for y'all. I actually sent an email out to my newsletter about this resource today, and I've had a ton of people download it already. And so I'm going to share my screen here and talk a little bit more about Stan. So first of all, again, on the topic of today, right, about diversifying, here's the uncomfortable truth, okay? When sponsorships are your only income source, really brands can kind of sense your desperation from a mile away, and that really, really sucks. But again, what if you weren't desperate for deals? What if you had the power to say, hey, thanks for the offer, but my standard rate is $5,000. Let me know if your budget changes, right? And then you can actually walk away, right? Again, this is what happens when you build multiple income streams, right? Digital products like ebooks and courses and affiliate revenue, right? This alliance revenue that we were talking about, instead of just relying solely on sponsorship income, okay? And so that is why I have teamed up with Stan Store to create secrets you need to know about working with brands to help you build this exact kind of leverage. And so inside this free 27-page guide that we have created, you're going to learn how to package your expertise into products that people actually buy. And you know what? I'm going to share my screen here so you can see this while I'm talking about this. Here, I'm going to pull this thing up here. Boom. And where is it? Boom. Here we go here. So this is a 27-page guide. This thing is chock full of expertise. So again, it also has the minimum viable product approach to create digital offers fast, the psychological shift that instantly gives you the upper hand in negotiations, the simple tech stack that you need to get started this week. It's Stan. And the most successful creators, again, they don't depend just on sponsorships to help give more negotiating leverage in these conversations with brands. They build leverage through multiple income streams. And so that's exactly what this guide is for. Okay. And so if you're tired of watching other creators land these massive deals while you're still getting lowballed, make sure to check the link in the description box to grab the secrets you need to know about working with brands now. I'm going to post these links. I'm actually going to give these to my in the chat. So if you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, I am going to post these links here. I put the free guide here. I also just want to give a huge shout out to Stan, okay, because they have now extended, if you want to sign up for Stan, instead of just a 14-day free trial, they are giving you a 30-day free trial. So you're going to get 1 month free when you sign up and join Stan today. So it's like this little, look at this headline here, literally your all-in-one creator store. So you can do coaching, you can sell courses, you can sell digital products, you can sell all these things. You can have your media kit on here. You can have a booking link for brands to sign up and, do a discovery call with you if they want to collaborate with you. So make sure to check the description box or the live chat. If you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, you should be able to see it here. And there's a lot of cool examples here of how other people are finding success with Stan Store. And so again, huge shout out to Stan for sponsoring this portion of the live stream. It's funny here, talk about a little bit of a meta moment here. A lot of people have told me wow, I didn't even think of live streams as a thing that could be sponsored. And so this is one of the things that I encourage a lot of people to do is think about all the different assets that you have in your business that would be valuable to a brand partner if they wanted to engage with you. There was actually a comment here a little bit further up from Tony, and he said, same for me, YouTube, website, all my main socials, newsletter, books, considering a podcast, right? And so there's a lot of different, like, as you start thinking about the building out, for me, like the creator wizard cinematic universe, all these different ways that I could potentially, serve not only my audience, but prospective brand partners. So again, huge shout out to Stan Store for sponsoring this portion of the live stream. And now let's dive in to Q&A. What questions do we have about developing better negotiation skills, how you can diversify your income with some of these other monetization channels? Let me know. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but on the link that I put to download this free guide down below, I actually created an additional video. Actually, let's talk about this again real quickly. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Little inside baseball here during the conversation with Stan about creating this resource. So they developed this really cool landing page here about, downloading this resource. And I like on the call with them, they did not. So this is not something that they contracted me to do. They didn't say, you're going to create this video or whatever. But I said to them, look, you know what? I actually think I should maybe make a video here to talk about like actually how awesome this resource is. I'm going to talk about why it's important. I'm going to talk about why you should download it. It's chock full with XYZ. And they're like, oh my God, that's so great. Sean, I don't know if you're here from Stan, if you're still here, but I didn't have to offer that. But the point of this is that I want to encourage as many people to download this and to convert as possible, because what's going to happen? More people will download the resource. More people will sign up for Stan. They will see the value in the extra effort, the extra mileage that I'm going to ensure that this partnership was a success. Like, these are the things that you need to be doing above and beyond what you were contracted to do to set up, this partnership for success and ensure that they'll renew with you. This is the entire thrust of what I teach, is going the extra mile to blow the socks off your brand partners. Okay. Is this making sense to people? Do you understand this? Has anyone done this recently where you've kind of gone the extra mile and the brand was just like, wow, I can't believe you would be willing to do that. In the chat here on IG, Cultivate Vibrance is Charlotte. Charlotte, founder of Cultivate Vibrance. All right, there we go. Sean says, yeah, make sure to y'all check it out. So many gems, 100% agree. It is so many gems in there. Really, really, really good. Oh, one other thing that we YOLO'd, Sean and I YOLO'd, was we created an email sequence on the back end of this resource. So once you download it, you're going to continue to get value over something like 5 to 7 days, talking about, different aspects of the guide, right? And so what if you pitch something like that to a sponsor to be like, hey, in addition to this discount, in addition to this resource, in addition to this guide that we are providing to people, what if we nurture them over the next, 6 to 7 days to continue to not only provide value from this guide, but also talk about the value of the sponsored tool. So in this email sequence that Sean and I developed, it was like, hey, here's how you can get value out of Stan Source. So it's like a huge amount of value for both parties, okay? And my audience, of course, right? I guess I just wanted to be very, very clear here. This is a 27-page guide. It's not like a 2-page PDF. There's a lot of work devoted into this, so make sure to download it, okay? All right. Mecca in the chat says, still getting a lot of value from the Sponsor Magnet book. Let's go. Thank you so much, Mecca. I appreciate you very much. And yeah, if you're listening to this or watching this and you are not familiar with what Mecca is talking about, it's this beautiful book sitting here over my shoulder. It's called Sponsor Magnet. Make sure to go check it out where you purchase your books. Maybe it's sponsormagnet.com. Maybe it's Amazon. YOLO. Go get it. Okay. Charlotte says, do you need 4 brands? We've worked with them in the past, but it was more for social impact sponsorship. Can you clarify? Are you talking about maybe like nonprofits? Your question's confusing to me. Do you need to do this for brands? Maybe you're talking about like for nonprofits. I don't know. Let me know in the chat what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, we got Josiah. We got Josiah in the chat. Good to see you, Josiah. Josiah is a alumni of my Brand Deal Wizard course. He also has the honor of being for this title, which is the very first public coaching call that I ever did. So I have these videos on my YouTube channel where I literally do a coaching call with a creator, and they have given me the permission to actually post it live. And so Josiah was the very first one that I did. And so thank you, Josiah. Josiah has a great question here. How to push through big objections during a negotiation, like perpetual usage, net 90, revision rounds, etc. Okay, so what Josiah is talking about here, oftentimes comes up, especially when you are a creator trying to get a brand deal through some of these platforms, right? They have these brand deal platforms that you can basically create an account on and apply to certain campaigns. And a lot of times these platforms have very fixed parameters that you have to agree to when you're applying. So like there's all these like check boxes, and it'll say sometimes the terms will be kind of buried. Like it'll be like 2 check boxes. It'll be like, I agree to the terms and conditions of this partnership, and it'll be like a link. And like most people just like boom, boom, boom. They don't even like read it, but you have to like click it, and it like opens a new window. And there's like all these like crazy terms like perpetual usage rights and 90 days, 6 months of exclusivity and like blah 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 blah. And so by checking that box, you may not even be realizing that you were agreeing to these pretty onerous terms for the partnership. And so this is, I think, what Josiah is talking about. He even gave a little bit of additional context here. I walked away from a potential deal in February where the agency rep was playing hardball unreasonably until the very last second and came back weeks later. Yeah. I think that this actually happened to me recently. I was negotiating with the sponsor until the 11th hour for my event, actually for Sponsor Games. And I ultimately walked away because of some terms that the brand was requiring. And I also decided to walk away. I felt like it was a pretty unreasonable thing that they were asking for. And so frankly, dude, like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about on this call is really going to help with this type of thing. I think man, like when a brand can sense that you have a very strong negotiating position, basically, which is just like, I'm kind of going to walk away. Like if you cannot, come to the table here, or meet me in the middle, compromise at least at all on this thing. I feel like I'm being pretty reasonable. We've kind of worked back and forth here. If you can't even come to the table here, meet me halfway, meet me in the middle, is this really going to be a partnership? This feels like there's this pretty significant power imbalance. And so honestly, some of these other things, having other revenue streams, affiliate marketing, digital products, coaching, courses, whatever it is, other revenue streams that you have that you can fall back on to give you the confidence to say these types of things to brands. Frankly, like that's a pretty important part of this. I understand maybe that's not the answer you were hoping for, but like the cold truth of it all, honestly, Josiah, is that there are going to be some brands who they just have these terms and it's kind of a take it or leave it thing. Just for a little bit of like background too, when I ran my influencer marketing agency, one of the most challenging parts of getting these deals across the finish line was like when we would sell through a deal to a brand or another agency that was subcontracting us, we would oftentimes sell through the deal dynamics before we engaged partners. So this is a real example. So we did a very, very large multiple 5-figure deal with a toy brand one time for my agency. And what we sold to them was number of assets. And number of creators engaged and terms of the deal. So we said, okay, if you pay us, hundreds of thousands of dollars, basically, we will guarantee that we will get you, I don't even remember what it was. It was like, multiple hundreds of pieces of content. We will guarantee that we will hit this number of impressions because part of the package was going to be paid media. So we were going to be boosting this content. We were going to be allocating part of that budget towards boosting the content. And we're going to be guaranteeing that you're getting 6 months of usage rights from, and whatever it was, 90 days of exclusivity from any creator that we engage. And this was the deal that they signed off on. And so when we then, and a certain number of creators, it was going to be like 40 creators or something. And so when we came to these creators, we basically said, these are the terms. We can't negotiate these because this is what we sold through to the client. And so this is why sometimes it's very difficult to negotiate with a sponsor or an agency or something, because of the fact that they already sold through the terms before they ever spoke with you. Again, this is not how it always is, but this is oftentimes why some brands will say, like, we can't negotiate on this stuff just because of the deal dynamics. So I don't know. I don't know if that helps, but like, again, going back to this other thing where it's like trying to help them, the brand, to understand where you're coming from, why they should be paying you more money for some of the things that they're asking for, why, negotiating down from 90 days exclusivity down to 30 days or whatever is reasonable. All those things are like, should be in your arsenal. So Josiah said that's exactly what happened. They did not want to meet halfway after I offered multiple compromises. And so I think honestly, like, walking away in your situation was the right move. Hold on a second here. Hold the phone. Josiah said, by the way, scored my biggest deal ever in March, thanks to you and your work. Guys, hold on a second here. Hold the phone. I got to pull up this comment from Josiah here. Guys, come on. Let's give it up for Josiah in the chat. I got to screenshot this one, Josiah. Josiah, let us know. Tell us a little bit more about the deal. Like, if you can tell us how much it was, the deal dynamics, how it came together. Bro, I'm so proud of you. Guys, come on. Give it up for Josiah in the chat. Let's go. Guys, come on. Josiah, I'm so proud of you, dude. Dude, this is so exciting, man. I want to real quickly give a shout out to Josiah for something specifically. We've had so many conversation over the last couple of years, Josiah. I remember this, especially on that public coaching call that we did, that you were frustrated. You were like, man, it really feels like I can't push through. These brands are not, wanting to negotiate me, or I'm not hearing back on my pitches or whatever. And I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I gave you was like, bro, we've got to push through. We got to keep going. And you have showed up on these live streams. You've continued to be engaged in the community. You've continued to, to push the envelope here. You've seen the light, what's possible. And here we go. You got your largest deal ever. Because you kept persevering. And it's it's people like you who understand that, brand deals don't just magically happen in 30 days. In fact, this is one of the big reasons that I decided to eliminate the monthly payment option for my coaching program, because I really wanted to set the proper expectation when people are coming in and saying, like, look, this is something that you need to commit to for a longer time period. It's the creators who are understanding when I get into this. Every single creator that joined at the annual level, I have the data here. Every single creator who joined at the annual level are seeing so much better results because they have the right mindset here. Right? They understand, okay, like, even if I don't get a brand deal in these first 30 days or whatever, I'm going to keep nurturing. I'm going to keep following up. I'm going to keep providing value to these brands. I'm going to circle back to brands that I worked with 6 months ago now. I'm going to put together this post-campaign report. I'm going to come back to them and say, hey, even though in the first 30 days the video got, 10,000 views, guess what? Now we're sitting here at 6 months and this video has 100,000 views. Let's talk. I have some other ideas about how we could collaborate again, moving forward on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, on a 12-month partnership, right? It's this whole idea that it's never too late to circle back with the brand that you worked with, back in the day. Josiah says it was for $16K for 2 IG reels with some usage rights. Guys, come on, guys. What are we even talking about here? Like, come on, guys, let's give it up for Josiah again. Who here would like to get $16K for 2 Instagram reels with some usage terms? Who here would like this? Because Josiah just made it happen. Josiah is a Brand Deal Wizard alumni. Come on, guys. I'm so proud of you, Josiah. Keep it up. And Antares Airsoft said, Justin, first time catching you live. You have helped me a ton and definitely pushed me to act on trying to get brand deals. I am on the post-campaign phase on my first ever branded content deal. There is no better channel out there for this specifically. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Moving on to the post-campaign phase. This feels great. Doesn't it feel great doing so, like taking this stuff into your own hands? Holy cow. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, Sean from Stan in the chat is doing the praise hands emoji for you, Josiah. Let's go. Parker's on the go, and Instagram is also doing the praise hands emoji. Charlotte Francis is saying, is got the celebration emoji. And Tara says, yeah, 16K is crazy. You know, it's funny when I highlight some of the deals that people get in our community, people think I'm like, it's like not true. When I'm saying, oh yeah, 16K for 2 Instagram posts or 50K for a single integration. You know, I talked about in my book actually that, you know, our largest deal ever was for $50,000 for a single integration. It was with a pharmaceutical company. People are like, what? There's no way. I'm like, oh, like pharmaceutical companies, they actually kind of have a lot of money. And especially if you're doing usage rights and stuff like that. These are like real things. In fact, I just published, this is actually good timing to talk about this because, let me share my screen here. I'm so excited about this. I think I've mentioned this before, but like I completely overhauled my blog recently, or my website. And we have this whole new section called under free resources called success stories. And we have so many great success stories here of creators that have gone on to do amazing things in my community. And our most recent success story is with a guy by the name of Chad Prosser. And he has this government contracting newsletter. And he closed a $50,000 brand deal with this newsletter. So if you want to read this success story, I'm going to drop it here in the chat. I don't ever want to hear another person telling me that like I'm too niche. No brand or company would ever want to work with me. And I'm like, okay, go read this case study of this B2B creator named Chad who has a government contracting newsletter, landed a 50K deal. I don't ever want to hear anyone telling me that they can't get a brand deal for their niche ever again. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone read this deal, or this case study, but I loved this one because this is like my dream. My dream is just to like continue to do these profiles of people to just like show what's possible. Josiah said, thank you, sir. You are the greatest investment I've made for my creator journey, and every creator should do the same if they're serious about their work. Josiah, bro, that is so kind of you. That is so kind of you to say. Bianca, can you please screenshot that comment as well? Because I want to make sure that I get all these. Josiah, I appreciate you, dude, and I appreciate your confidence and your trust in me. That means a lot, man. All right, I'm gonna take a swig because I've been talking a mile a minute. Okay. Parker's on the go says, we just need to be in the room where it happens. I'm picking up sponsor magnet today. Let's go. I appreciate you, Parker's on the go. Honestly, like this is why I'm so bullish about primarily building out my coaching program and my in-person event. These are the two things that I'm most bullish about in my business, candidly, because like you said, being in the room where it happens is such a critical part, and especially the group support version of my coaching program where you can be in the room with other creators, observing how they are negotiating, so like pushing the envelope. You know, you may have come into the coaching program thinking like, okay, I had a goal of making $50,000 on, you know, my sponsorship revenue this year or whatever. A lot of times people will come in and be like, oh, wow, I like that person has a goal of like 400,000. Wow, maybe I need to be a little bit more ambitious with my goal setting here. Cause like, wow, that person's like stretching my brain of like, what's even possible with this stuff. That's one of my favorite parts of building out this community. Same thing with the in-person event. That really was a big takeaway of like, a lot of people have said that was their very first in-person creator event that they've ever been to, and just like surrounding themselves with and hearing about other ways in which people are doing sponsorships has been super inspiring, especially like other content formats. So like, oh, I go there and I'm a YouTuber, right? And I sat at a table with like a bunch of newsletter people, or I sat at a table with like a, live streamer, or I sat at a table with someone who's doing in-person events or speaking engagements or authors. And so it was just like really inspiring, I think, to be able to cross-pollinate in that regard. So totally agree with you. Parker's on the go that being in the room where it happens is a big part of it. Yeah. In fact, I continue to be a student of this. I am paying to go to a mastermind next month, an in-person an in-person event. I'm flying out to go to a multiple day mastermind where I'm going to be surrounded by people who I feel imposter syndrome around. This is a group of a bunch of other authors, like really, really successful authors. And I'm just like, I can't believe I got invited to this thing. And so I'm really excited to kind of be a student again. And go to this in-person mastermind. Again, just like always investing in how I can not only improve myself, but improve the experience for y'all. So yeah, I am very excited about that. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Parker's on the Go says, right, because when we think of our goals, those numbers aren't even in our stratosphere. Yeah, 100% agree with you. Yeah, so another anecdote, like I have this mastermind that I just launched a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I have a small group, a core group of people in there who were meeting twice monthly in like basically an intimate setting. And the goals that these people are setting are like stratospheric, $700,000, 7 figures. These goals that people are setting on their sponsorships is like super impressive, and the businesses that they built. I'm even inspired, frankly. And so, I like, okay, here's just like one more anecdote. Let's see here. Let's see here. I think my wife might be locked out. Is my wife locked out? Maybe my wife is locked out. She might be. 2 seconds. My wife is locked out. Hold on a second. Are you locked out? No. Oh, I'm on my live stream. Sorry. Hi guys. I'll be back. No, my wife was not locked out. She was ringing the doorbell and she was trying to get my kids to open it. Sorry, I had to. That was like a live moment. We're live streaming, but I wanted to make sure my life. I was like worried that I bolted. We have like a deadbolt, and so I was worried that I bolted it and she couldn't get back in. Lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? The mastermind. Yeah. So just like this was the anecdote I was sharing. We are actively helping someone in my private coaching, helping someone negotiate a multi-million-dollar sponsorship right now. I've never done a multi-million-dollar sponsorship before, but I feel so confident that we can help this person. And so even that, I'm just like, dang, like some people have built crazy businesses. And the fact that we get to like support that is amazing. And so, I just think that's a cool anecdote. Sean says, this is too real, true life of a creator entrepreneur. Yeah, exactly. Okay. What was that? I've like lost track of my mind here because I had to go open the door for my wife. Get back to work in the chat says good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Exactly. Absolutely love to hear it. Okay. There was another question here from Charlotte Francis. I think she was saying maybe some additional context. We have a small list and following, but if they like our content, they are very engaged. I need a little bit more context, I think, on your business. Are you talking about for like nonprofits? Are you talking about for different types of brands? Maybe you can tell me about what niche you're in, because I'm not sure I quite understand your question. So let me know. Okay, here. Get Back to Work says, Justin is the real deal, folks. Huge help. I appreciate that very much. Get Back to Work means a lot. Okay. Livestream Consultants has a good question here. Question on usage rights. How do you track sponsors' negotiated amount of usage of content you created for them to use, such as negotiated 30 days of usage on their platforms? Okay, so this is what I do. If you have purchased my book, Sponsor Magnet, again, shameless plug, sponsormagnet.com. In fact, let me pull up the scrolling thing about my book. There we go. If you purchase my book, you get access to my sponsorship tracker template for free. I've built out this amazing, sophisticated Notion template that will allow you to track the usage rights, Livestream Consultants. So you actually can indicate there and set up reminders within a tool like Notion to remind you to circle back to the brand. And guess what? This can oftentimes become found money. You can say to the brand, hey, the usage rights are expiring in 2 weeks, 30 days. Would you like to extend them for $5,000, $10,000? Like my wife and I have literally made 6 figures plus of I call free money from simply staying updated with this usage rights stuff. And so using a CRM like, I mean, you could use any CRM obviously, but using a CRM like our sponsorship tracker template, you can track the usage rights for this stuff so that you can follow up with the brand and try to upsell extension of that usage. Let me know if that's helpful. This is the way we approach it. And I think it's so critical to track this stuff, especially if they try to like extend the usage beyond what they're supposed to in the contract. The other thing too, just real quick note on this is that don't get immediately mad at a brand if you realize that they're continuing to run paid media on your assets beyond this term, because they may have forgotten or not realized, or the person who was familiar with the usage rights left and it's a new person managing it. So don't come in heated, all, kind of blazing like mad, like, how dare you? That's more money. Here's an invoice for the extra time that you use. No, you don't need to come at it really contentious. Come at it, be amicable, be friendly, just clarify for them that the usage rights ended on this date. Let us know if you've set, what budget you've set aside to secure the extra usage rights. Like there's language that you can use to help you with this stuff. Okay. All right. Livestream consultant says cool deal. Yeah. And so if you buy the book, you get this tracker template along with a bunch of other stuff as a free bonus. Okay. All right. What other questions have we got? Tony Locke says, Justin makes it rain. What you're talking about. All right, let's go. I got a new watch and I don't know why, but my alarm or my watch is chiming at me. I need to turn off this. Why is it chiming at me? Oh, someone just bought the book. That's why it chimed. Well, maybe it was one of you. If it was one of you who bought the book on this live stream, in fact, anyone who buys the book on this live stream and lets me know in the chat, I am going to give him a huge shout out. Holy cow, look at this. Parker's on the go says, sorry, we are back. Just purchased the book. So excited. It was you. Parker's on the go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, y'all. Come on. Parker's on the go. I appreciate you. I really, really hope you enjoy the book. I hope you find it valuable. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. And I hope you find value from the book. All right, let's see here. What other questions do we have? Let me scroll up here. Mecca has a question here a little bit earlier in the chat. What is a good length for a contract with a brand? 3 months, 6 months, a year? I mean, the longer, the better in my view. That's the simplistic answer. The real answer, the reality answer is that, it is difficult to get a brand to convince a brand to hire you on a long-term contract unless they have done an initial partnership with you and gained some experience of what a professional working relationship with you is like. A lot of creators come to me. This is a big thing that they ask is like, how do I convert all these like one-off deals that I'm getting into long-term partnerships? And my answer almost always is like, look, like blow their socks off on this first deal and then use the insights that you learned from this first deal as fodder to pitch them for an extended collaboration. You've revealed new insights, or your audience has given you new insights into other objections that your audience has, and more education that's needed to continue to emphasize with them why you need to talk about this product over and over to emphasize this consistent messaging rather than this just like one-off thing. Being able to talk with the brand about something like the marketing rule of 7, which establishes that a lot of consumers need to hear something 7 times to actually finally make a purchase decision about that product. Okay. And so when it comes to doing that initial deal and blowing their socks off, then we start to think, okay, maybe we can think about a quarterly deal, 3 months, a biannual deal between H1 and H2. I'm right now in the middle of an H1 deal with Circle, which is the community platform that I use to do my coaching and host my courses and things like that. That is a H1 deal. So that means that I am doing 1 video a month with them over 6 months. But that wasn't the first deal that I did right out the gates with them. I did it, that this is like my 3rd or 4th deal, working with them. And so that's just like a quick example of like, the credibility that you need to build oftentimes before you can, ink a longer term deal. Let me quickly mention something. I don't know if Sean is still in the chat from Stan, but I did one kind of one-off deal with Stan maybe 2 years ago, but now this is kind of like a reset deal that I'm doing with them. I'm doing newsletter blasts. I'm doing, the live stream stuff like I'm doing right now. I co-created this resource with them. But my goal, I really like the folks at Stan. I love the tool that they've built. I love John, who's the CEO, his ethos behind how he's building his brand, how transparent he is. There's a lot of things that I really like about Stan. And my goal is to forge a long-term partnership with them. And so a lot of the things that I'm doing in service of kind of blowing Sean's socks off, basically, is what can I do? What can I do? How can I go above and beyond, go the extra mile to, show her and the Stan team that I'm in it for the long haul. And I see that there could be a long-term protracted relationship with them. But at the same token, it's not just about pay me a bunch of money. It's about, hey, let me paint the vision for you of why it makes sense for me to continue to talk about Stan for the next 8 months through the rest of 2025. You know what? The chief thing that I'm going to ask is, tell me, I want to know more. What are the KPIs, Sean, that you're measured by year end? What are your KPIs? Is it number of, trial signups for Stan? Is it awareness about Stan's utility to do coaching or courses, or I don't know what it is. I need to know this information, and let me design a bespoke, customized solution with all the different things that I have at my disposal. Heck, maybe this means sponsoring my in-person event next year. Have you done much in-person events? I don't know. Is that a big thing to develop an in-person, element to, your community, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is. I'm just spitballing here, but I have all these things at my disposal: the podcast, the YouTube, the socials, the newsletter, right? The live streams. I have so many things. And let me use that to help solve these business objectives, these challenges that you're having. Is this resonating with anyone? I really hope this is. This has been such a blast. I really appreciate each and every one of you showing up to these live streams each week. And again, I want to give a huge shout out to Stan, which was today's sponsor of the live stream. If you want to download that 27-page free guide called Secrets That You Need to Know About Working with Brands, Negotiating with Strength, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. And you can get a 30-day free trial to Stan if you check out the link as well. Huge shout out to them. And I will see you all on the next live stream. Thanks, everyone.